hopefully you can hear me. A bit far away from the camera, but these things are all an experiment. But anyway, yeah. Carry on my explanation where I disappeared to for 5 or 6 months. Back in July, I had a very, very funny turn. I thought it was cramp, actually. I thought I got really bad cramp in the middle of the night. But it didn't get any better, and the cramp always wears off, doesn't it? But this just got nastier and nastier, and eventually I couldn't walk without having to sit down and have a rest. Couldn't walk across the room. And the pain was sort of awful. Never had anything quite like it. And so I went down to the doctor, and she thought it could be DVT, which had gone through my mind, but never had anything like that before. And anyway, so she did some tests and decided it wasn't DVT, and it probably was just a really bad cramp and would eventually wear off, and it just done some sort of damage to the muscle because it was so severe. So I went back home, and it just didn't get any better. And I got a bit fed up with it in the end, and after lots of pestering and cajoling from close friends and family, I sort of eventually got myself up to the hospital, where they discovered that I had indeed had a DVT, quite a bad one, in my right calf. And my blood pressure was unbelievably low as well, which was why I was feeling a bit dizzy. And it's cold as making my nose run, I do apologise. But yeah, so the low blood pressure was a big worry, and so they kept me in hospital. And while I was there, they did all sorts of scans and tests. Eventually they found out that I'd also got blood clots on my lungs again. Yeah, it started to rain, but anyway, it is December, so we'll see how we go. It's not too bad, I'll just keep going, otherwise I'll be chopping and changing. So anyway, there I was, July, back in hospital. Massive DVT in my right calf, blood clots on my lungs, really feeling rough, out of everything really, just weak and hopeless. And they kept me in, I think it was about 2 weeks this time, I can't remember exactly, and it was around the time of the Queen's Jubilee, so I had to put up with all that. As you know, I'm not a monarchist by any stretch of the imagination, quite the opposite, so that all fell on deaf ears for me, unfortunately, for the people that went to dress up with Union Jacks and silly bowler hats and things. But anyway, I eventually sort of got my blood pressure up, and they were happy the blood clots were clearing and I could breathe and I could walk, and did a test where I had to prove I could walk up and down stairs before they'd let me go home, but eventually they let me go home. And yeah, 5 months later, not back to normal by any stretch of the imagination, but life is sort of getting back more close to normality. And I couldn't drive for a month after I left hospital because my left arm was still a bit wonky. I think I'd had another mini stroke as well. It was all part of all this shenanigans that was going on in my body. And my left arm is it's not semi-useless, I'm not going to exaggerate it, but my guitar playing days are over until I can get more coordinated movement in the left hand. But I could drive after a month, so I'm back driving, and got enough fitness to be able to get out and walk. Not tried running yet, but hopefully that will come. I've been here before, obviously, over the last 2 or 3 years with really bad COVID last year, and it turned into pneumonia and blood clots and on my lungs, all sorts of crazy things happening, and managed to get back to almost full fitness every time. So it's just going to be a slow haul. But the photography more or less stopped because also at the same time my laptop packed up and I couldn't afford to get a new one, so I had no means to process my photos. Photography stopped, time shift videos stopped, YouTube stopped, and then here we are, so just trying to start all up again and hopefully get back into the photography a bit more. It's third time lucky. Quite busy. It's at Swanholme, if you haven't guessed. The locals will obviously recognise it. Swanholme Lakes, beautiful place. I was hoping to get some autumn colour, which I've missed peak autumn for a couple of weeks. It's not bad. So I might have a wander after I've done the video and just take some photos and add them at the end of the video. I've sort of really got out of the habit of photography. Once you get out of the rhythm of the whole thing, it's quite hard to get back and start again. It's a bit like sort of running or anything, I suppose, when you've not done it for ages. The photography is a little bit like my health. It feels a bit useless at the moment, sort of totally uncoordinated, and making amateur mistakes, not focusing everything. And around the Christmas market the other night, got some nice photos, but dumped more than I really wanted to. So it's going to take a while, I think, to get back in the flow and make it all become sort of automatic, rather than having to consciously think about every single thing that I do. But anyway, we'll get there, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get up into town once the Christmas market's gone and everywhere's not quite so packed out and busy. Then I'll get back up and get some time shifts going again. Yes, getting back into photography was quite odd. I thought it'd be, just pick the camera up and everything will come back, not falling off a bike, etc, etc. But it's proved quite complicated, and I feel almost like a beginner again. And looking at the camera and thinking, what does that do? Oh, I remember. I think, And then you get back in the habit, you experiment a bit, and hopefully slowly I'll get there. And maybe this little walk today will be a big part of that. But the same happened when I went into the sort of photo editing, and suddenly realised or remembered that I shoot in RAW, and so I had to do an extra lot of processing. And it was all like an alien, like learning Serbo Croat or something. It was quite bizarre and a bit frustrating. But anyway, we're getting there, and when I edit this video, it'll be the first video I've edited for nearly 6 months. So that'll no doubt be the same process of frustration and experimentation and cock-ups and learning, and eventually getting it something close to being right. And as I say, when I get doing the time shifts again, hopefully tomorrow morning, if I get out and get into town, that'll be similar. It'll be I've got lots of old photos on my phone, and that's the process really, that I get these old photos on my phone, go into town to where the old photo was taken, try to get in as close to the exact position as the original photographer as I can, which sometimes is dead easy, sometimes is very, very, very difficult. Depends how much remains from the original photo, which can be either everything or nothing, literally nothing remains of it. And then try to replicate the old photo as best I can. Often involves stepping into the middle of a busy road, so it's entertaining and frustrating for the people sometimes, but if you want to do it right, you've got to put yourself through some of this. So anyway, checking no people around for the rain seems to have eased off anyway. So yeah, time shifts again tomorrow, hopefully. And if I can get 10 or a dozen old photos reproduced in one session in half a day or something, that gives me something to work on for the rest of the day. And by tomorrow night, hopefully I'll be posting them, or start posting them again on YouTube. And maybe I'll post 4 or 5 to make up for the fact I've missed some ones, but see how that goes. But anyway, finally I'd just like to thank everybody for the support and the encouragement while I've been ill. It's been quite overwhelming really, the messages that I've received, even though I've had to get them through third parties often, because I've not been online, I've not been on social media, not actually seen them myself, so people have transferred the messages to me. And I'm sorry that I've not been able to get back to everybody individually, but that's just physically and mentally, emotionally impossible really. But I'm back now, so just in time for Christmas. So anybody wants to start ordering calendars or time shift books, or the usual stuff, or photo walks, hopefully I'll get started pretty soon. I've had lots of inquiries for those last week. Now there's autumn colours for nature walks and Christmas market. Christmas lights are up in town obviously. Dark nights is always a popular time for photo walks. Yeah, hopefully we'll get back to those sorts of normality as well. But yeah, thanks again for everybody that's stuck with me while I've been away.